Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storm, here to help you unlock the mind, business, and spirit of your private practice success. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to grow, this is the place for you if you really want to create a thriving private practice. Before we dive in, I want to share something that can really make a difference in your business. Imagine having an expert in your pocket, someone available on demand whenever you need guidance. Well, that's exactly what my new program, Practice Momentum, offers. With over 30 years of experience at your fingertips, you can now get the support you need whenever you need it. Curious? Head over to brooklynstorm.com to learn more. And now let's get into today's episode. Hey there, happy Thursday. So I was going to say Wednesday, but it's not even. Happy Thursday. I am really pleased that you're here. 1,000 apologies for not recording something for Saturday. I'll explain why. Basically, I've just been totally obsessed with writing the sales page for Booked and Better. I have just been loving it so much. I'll tell you why. So remember how I was sharing with you a little while ago that when I sent out that survey to my clients, asking them about, their progress and the results that they were getting and stuff like that. One of the other questions in there was about why did they choose me to work with? And I was thinking it was going to be because I was, spiritual and I lean into that and I don't hold back from it and all those kinds of things. But what they all wrote was a variation of, well, it was because you're honest. And it was really funny because they all kind of expressed it differently. Like someone said that it was the brutal honesty. Someone said they like it because they know I'm just going to kind of rip it off like a Band-Aid and then we can get down to brass tacks and sort things out, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, all of this has been happening, right? This shift in how people perceive me, I realized, has been happening since I started doing my own work around my own diagnosis of ADDC, right? So the ADHD, the hyperactivity. So it's like where your brain is racing all the time. That's my experience of it anyway. And then, so even while I can feel energetically depleted, my brain is still like on hyper mode. But I also have the inattentive subtype, which is where I can get distracted really easy by things, right? And then I lose my place. And you hear that happen on the podcast all the time. So I'm so sorry about that. But anyway, when I started working with my therapist, one of the things that she said to me was around masking. And she was explaining to me at one time that, when you know what masking is. And I was like, no, I don't do that. I had no insight. I was like, yeah, no, that's not me. I don't do that. And then, of course, because it was on my mind, I started to realize, oh, yeah, maybe I am. And then I realized that I'm not only masking for me, I mask for other people. So other people can feel safe. So other people can feel regulated, because when somebody else is regulated, then that means I can be regulated. It was all this circular logic, not helpful way of being and thinking and stuff like that. And so I've been, letting go of the mask over the last 6 months or, 7 months now. And as a result, I have been becoming more of me, right? In the past, I'd always been hiding parts of me because that's just what you do when you mask, right? So I was always kind of taught, nobody's interested in what you've got to say. And then people would say, oh, Brooklyn, zip your lip. We don't want to hear it and stuff like that. So I always thought that my opinion didn't count, that what I had to say was of no use or value to anybody. And things like that. And then the other things that I heard were you should always play nicely. You should always be a good girl, be a nice person. Don't upset your brother, all those kinds of things. So what ended up happening without me even realizing it was it just became my way of being in the world. And so with the unmasking, I've been able to let go of some of those layers of other people's stuff, other people's stories and values, right? I've been able to just kind of slowly start taking them off. I feel like I'm on AGT, America's Got Talent or Australia's Got Talent, and I'm that girl that does the fast change clothes. She just kind of spins around. She's in a different outfit, then she spins around again. She's in a completely different outfit, and she does it like 100 times. I feel like that's me at the moment. It's just boom, release that mask, boom, release that mask, boom, release that mask. And I wasn't, I guess, aware of how, this was not altering or impacting, but I guess how I was being perceived by people. And do you know what? It feels really, 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 really good. Like, it was such a shock initially, but it felt good because I thought, oh my God, like, I'm just being accepted for being me. And actually, like, people like who I am. I never had to like try and be a chameleon, which is one of the things you do with ADD and people pleasing and stuff. You try and be a chameleon so you fit in, so that you'll be accepted and things like that. But when I let go of the masking and everything, I'm still in the process of it, right? It's not done, obviously. Like, it's 50 years of undoing here and it's only been 7 months. But what I'm realizing is that, no, actually, I can just be me at work and, it's totally fine. So now I've just forgotten what I was going to say. I was going somewhere with this. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, my sales page. So anyway, right, I had this idea a little while ago. I mentioned it on a previous episode, and I was like, talking about how, it's a common experience that when something's not working in our business, we go to Google, right? Or we go to the Facebook groups or our supervisor, and we're asking everybody for their ideas and opinions about what we should be doing. And we lose all this time. And then we often try things and they don't work. And I was reflecting, thinking, oh my gosh, that used to be me as well. And even now, sometimes it is, though I'm doing other things. My interest is in other areas. It's kind of expanded and extended. But I certainly remember, trying to get my business going when it was just at the beginning, and then also trying to, develop it and grow it once it had been established, and just being on that same merry-go-round, that same roller coaster of, asking everybody else, trying to find the answers, because there wasn't really a place where you could go to get them. And then I was like Googling stuff, and of course watching YouTube and then Instagram and everything. And I'd end up like just really confused, overwhelmed, downloading like the same stuff all the time. And usually like not even opening the PDFs, but just getting more and more emails from people that like I'd signed up to their stuff. And it just felt like almost an obsession, a compulsion, an addiction. I just couldn't break it. It was happening so often that I was sitting down looking for stuff. Instead of doing stuff, I was looking for stuff. Yeah. So anyway, I was thinking about it, a little while ago, and I thought, well, I really love making stuff. So my human design is generator, and my way of working is I do really, really well when I'm responding to things. And so I was kind of leaning into my, human design, and I was thinking to myself, well, what can I respond to? And I started to think about all the things that people were having trouble with. And then even last week, I did a bunch of, it was last week or the week before, I did a bunch of 15-minute business consultations just to help women with their private practices, right? Not selling anything, not pitching anything, just showing up and helping, right? And anyway, I was doing those calls and I was like, oh my gosh, there's really a need for this. And, if only this other thing were available, stuff like that. And I started to think, well, I've got stuff and maybe I can like tweak it, use it, change it, whatever. So basically I came up with this idea, not last week. Last week I came up with more ideas for products for it. But the big idea was have not a membership, but like a subscription. And all I want to do is I just want to make it really easy for me, but really, 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 really helpful. Like so what I'm doing is I'm having a subscription. It's a paid subscription, and women in private practice will be able to join it, and then every single month they're going to get a resource that is not boring, that is not generic, that's not watered down, that is useful, but it's also innovative, because I want them to have new ways of doing things. And seriously, if the current ways of doing stuff isn't working, then I want to make a dent in that and come up with a new way of doing the things she wants to do, right? And anyway, I also just got in my head that I wanted to just be really playful with it and keep it really, really light. And so that's what I've done. And OMG, when I say that I have spent 6 or 7 days just working on the sales page for this, I'm not even joking, because I have really, 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 really just kind of leaned into my playful side. I've just let myself go there. I'm just like, do you know what? We don't need another stuffy, serious thing. Like, I just want to have something that feels light, and it feels really fun, and it feels really easy. And so I'm really, really proud of this page. It is, I don't think you've ever seen anything like it in our industry. People are either going to love it or it's going to get me cancelled. Like, I'm sure people are going to love it. Anyway, so yeah, I've just been enjoying that whole process of writing without, like how when you, for the first time, you write your website or you write your marketing copy or something, right? You always think you got to show up in a certain way, or you've got to, you're like in therapist mode. You're like, well, I'm a counselor, so I have to write like a counselor. I'm a psychologist or a social worker, so I've got to make this sound like... I just let go of all of that. And I was just like, do you know what you see is what you get. And I'm just going to put it out there and we'll see what happens. So I've really been loving it. I've been loving playing with the colors, with the images, with my little headlines, with how I'm writing things. And I love it so much. Like, I wish there was a way I could print this little page out for myself and make it like a frameable poster, because I want to remind myself that things can be fun. And even if you're working in a space yourself and you're thinking about creating passive income for your business too, it doesn't, you don't have to do what I'm saying, right? Because I'm not saying that you have to do it, obviously, and I never would. But you don't have to make something fun. But I guess the thing that I'm trying to get across is that you can be you. You don't have to write things from a way that you think people need to hear them. Yeah. I mean, you got to, of course, write for your audience. Yes. I mean, if I was going to take this thing to a PACFA conference or a social work conference or a psychology conference, would I write it differently? Part of me wants to default and go, oh yeah, I'd really smarten it up. But the other part of me is like, do you know what? No, I'm done trying to, wear a cloak of someone that I'm not. No, I would take it as it is. And you know what? It's going to be so different to all the sort of corporate-y, clinically written type stuff. It's just a lot of fun, and I'm just really enjoying being in the space of just allowing myself to just be me. And that's what I wanted to share before we dive into this episode. So yeah, it's so exciting. And of course, because I've got ADHD, I put myself under a bit of pressure. I said to myself that I wanted to have my sales page up and running for the 1st of August. And so that's what I've been working toward over the last week, which, I'm going to give myself props here, because normally I would have left it to today to write the sales page, knowing that tomorrow is D-Day. But I got onto it pretty quickly because I was just feeling okay, yep, I'm doing it. It was I went from this is an idea and it's something that I want to do to, okay, no, it's happening, I'm doing it. And isn't it amazing how when you make a decision, the action follows? that's when you start to see traction and results and progress and everything. So that's really what's been happening. And I've got all of these products ready to go. The first product is it's for people who want to do discovery calls or inquiry calls or the 15-minute calls, but they don't love them, or they don't convert, or they don't know what they're doing. They avoid them. They know that they perhaps want to be doing them, but don't know how. It's just all feeling hard, or they know that they can be a great way to get clients, but the therapist themselves is a little bit phone avoidant, right? So anyway, you all know how I feel about discovery calls. So believe me when I say, I freaking came up with a whole new way of you being able to do them. And it doesn't involve selling. It doesn't involve pitching. It doesn't involve pushing, coercing, twisting anybody's arm, you feeling uncomfortable about it. No, it's a totally new way of doing it. And it's currently being tested at the moment. So I'm waiting for more reviews to come back from the testers. And I'm so excited for it. The first person, when she, started giving me feedback, let me see. Hang on. I'm just going to bring it up because it was gold. But also there was something important that I think we need to talk about too. Where is it? I'm just looking in my messages. Okay. She said, I'm actually looking at it now. I've just opened it and already I'm loving it. She said, love, love, love. What's written on the front page. I'm, laughing my butt off. And she said, oh my gosh, initial impressions when I first dive in is that I feel like you're speaking directly to me, like this product was made for me. It wasn't, but that's how she feels. And then she said, okay, so my honest opinion is it's bloody terrific, Brooklyn. I freaking love it. And then she said, I need it. I want it. And then she was just like gushing, like, this is so awesome. Oh my gosh, this is brilliant. It's music to my ears. Why hasn't anybody thought of doing it this way before? I want you to know, Brooklyn, that you can be so proud of what you've created because it's really well designed and it's really well written. This is absolutely going to work. I can't wait to use it. So and then she was like, I'm printing everything off right now. Which you don't have to. But anyway, so that was really, really great. And then I started speaking with her a little bit more about it. And I said to her, blah, blah, blah. What else do you think? And she said, well, it looks like a lot. And I said to her, well, it does, even though the little strategy is very simple. And it doesn't take longer than a normal discovery call and stuff like that. But I deliberately went into detail with things because I wanted it to be accessible for people who perhaps haven't done them before, don't know how they work, don't know what they are, don't know, all the things. So and then of course once she started like going into it, she was like, oh yeah, I knew that bit because she's experienced with them. So that was helpful feedback. But anyway, I'm just so excited to see what everybody else says about it. And and of course, like I've left it to the very last minute because today's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, which is going to be a total write-off because it's meant to be my day off, but Buddy's daycare is closed. So I've got like kids at home, like here's my fur baby, I know, but you know what I'm saying. And I've got to like run around and do shopping, like I've got to go and get mum's medication and I've got to go and make sure she's got a week of meals and food and drink and all those kinds of things because I'm going away on Saturday. So do you see what I mean? Like totally last minute. I've left it all in a big rush. But I just wanted to share like this is what's going on and that's why the podcast didn't get done. And when I go away, of course, I'm going to do more podcasts because I get loads of inspiration when I'm away because I've got the space, right? Anyway, so what I wanted to talk with you about today was something that came up with my journaling. So, this is like my business process. Oh, I have something really cool to share with you at the end of the episode for people that listen that really enjoy kind of the woo, the spiritual stuff, all of that. I'm not going to say it now because it's like a bit out there, but if that's you, stay to the end. If it's not you, don't worry, I'll let you know before I break off into that tangent so you can click out. But I was there this morning and I had my card deck, called in, extra support from energy, universe, source, guides, all the things. Started journaling about what I wanted to share today and what people needed to hear today. And it was really interesting because the card that came out was really all about, sorry, I'm just typing the password into my computer because screensaver came on. Was really all about, receiving, but in the bigger sense. And so we're going to unpack it. So I guess in all my time having private practices myself, which has been over 30 years now, and of course the last 9 years helping counsellors, psychologists and social workers and play therapists to get their businesses off the ground, or if they're already established, to grow them. There is certainly patterns and trends that I can very easily identify that I know get in the way of receiving. So when you're saying, I've got a private practice, Brooklyn, but maybe I don't have enough clients, or the money isn't coming through yet, or the opportunities aren't coming through yet, and things like that, I don't think it's always because you don't know what you're doing. I think that strategy is equally important as two other things. One of those is spirit. So it's working in alignment with your values, alignment with your purpose, all those kinds of things. And of course, if you want to extend that out to the woo and the universe and, spirituality, of course, integrate that too. But also mindset. And I think mindset is very often dismissed. I think for some reason we kind of get very focused on, but I need to know the steps. I need to know how, like what's the 6-step process and things like that. So I think what happens is you start, to sabotage yourself without even realizing it, right? Maybe you are aware. I know I'm certainly aware of some of the ways I have sabotaged myself and still continue to. But I also know, because I'm a mental health professional, that I don't know what's lurking in my subconscious that hasn't risen up yet, right? But I'm smart enough to know that, my conscious awareness is just like the 5% and the 95% in my subconscious. So I'm just not aware of all of that. And I'm also mindful that when we're doing mindset work, we're just trying to fix the 5% that we're aware of, right? So I get all of that, but it's helpful to remember it, right? But I guess what came through for me when I was journaling this morning were a few things, and that's what I'm going to share with you now. And the first one of those was that success and abundance in your business absolutely mean different things to everyone. Some of you, it will be about money. Some of you will be the number of appointments. Some of you will be winning awards. Some of you will be helping a certain number of people, right? And you've got maybe an impact goal. Like some of you, it will be about having more time to yourself, right? All those kinds of things. It's different for all of us. And there's no right or wrong way to view your success or abundance other than what's right for you. Okay, so it's very personal. It's very private, totally up to you. But, there's also this thing, like we see it on Instagram, we see it on Facebook, see it, on YouTube. It's the bright, shiny, sparkly stuff around success and abundance. And, people wanting to sell you on, here's the missing piece, right? Or do this thing or do that thing. And while those things can be helpful, it's only a third of the solution, right? These are the two bits that are missing. I know that there are a lot of women, especially in private practice, that do use strategies that are given to them. It's not that they're not implementing. I know absolutely there are women that get strategies and don't use them. And then they just keep looking for another strategy, right? That's a whole other story. But there are other women who are using strategies and they're not getting the results. And let's assume that the strategy is one that has been shown to work, right? So let's imagine it's a sound strategy. We know the strategy is working, but for some reason it's just not working for her, right? Or maybe it's just not working for you. This is the bit that I want to talk about because, as I said, it's just as important as knowing the strategy. It's that inner voice, perhaps, or it's the knowing, the sense of knowing, or maybe it's a story or a fear. It's something energetically that you're holding, and it can inadvertently be projected onto and into the business and effectively hold you back or slow down your ability or your capacity to receive, to manifest the abundance and the success that you really, 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 really want. So for example, let's imagine that you're in a space where you really, really, really want to receive more money, okay? But you just don't feel safe when you've got it. I can share like one of my experiences, and it's a thread in my life. And I have to understand here that this is nobody's responsibility other than mine. And maybe it is one of my soul contracts or one of my lessons to learn, but I'll share it with you. When I was a little girl, I was, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years old. And, my family wasn't wealthy or anything like that. We were all in the kitchen one day, my 5 siblings and I'm the oldest. And my mum had emptied and sterilised some jars, like old Vegemite jars or, jam jars or something. And she put a piece of paper inside each one with our name on. And she said that these were our money jars. And every now and again, whenever we got money, we'll give it to her, and she was going to put it in our little money jars. And there were things that we could do that would give us money. It might be like, washing the car. It might be packing up the dishes. It might be, picking up the wet towels from the bathroom and taking them downstairs to the laundry, something like that. So every now and again, you would get these little bits of money, a bit like 5 cents, 10 cents, 20 cents, right? Anyway, one day, I was in the kitchen with my mum. She was cooking and she went to get a plate from the cupboard. And our money jars were on the very top shelf, out of our reach. We couldn't get to them. The plates were on the shelf underneath. So she opens up the cupboard and I saw my jar and I was like really excited. And I asked her if she could pass it down to me. She passes it down to me and there's no money in it. And there's another note. And I look inside and there's a note from my father and it says, "I owe you $1.10. And I was like, what does this mean? Like, I didn't understand what I owe you really meant. And then my mum said, it's nothing for you to worry about, like that. And closed the cupboard. And then she sent me on my way. So what had happened was my father had taken $1.10. All the money I had in the world, he'd taken it. And maybe, I don't know, but maybe that was the start for me of people taking my money and people taking my stuff. Because if I fast forward, it was like when I was 15 or 16 and I'd just gone on to Aus study. And I was really excited to have some money. But all my money went to supporting my family, right? My mum needed that money to pay for bills and stuff. So there was that. And then when I was in my early 20s, I got into a relationship, got married. My husband and I, we had a offset account for our mortgage that neither of us were using. And so when I got qualified to be a psychologist and I started working, and then I had to register for GST and do my business activity statements and do the quarterly, PAYGs and all of that sort of stuff. My accountant suggested like putting aside a certain amount of money every time I got paid. So I just thought I'd use the offset account. And I said to my husband, if you're not using it, do you mind if I just use this to put aside my tax money? And he said, yeah, no problem. So I was just transferring money with the app on my phone into that account every single time that I got paid. And then anyway, there was $90,000 in that account, and I got my bill, and the bill was exactly $90,000. And I was so proud of myself for not getting scared about paying it because I knew the money was there. And so anyway, I came home that night, hubby's in bed, he's asleep. I'm still wide awake because I've worked really late. So I'm heating up dinner at like 10:30 at night. And then I thought, oh yeah, I may as well go and pay that bill while the microwave's going. So I go into the study and log into the bank account, and it says there's $0. But guess what? I don't even get upset about it because I know I've put the money in there. So anyway, I refresh the screen, log out, log in, still saying $0. So again, I'm still not even stressed about it. I call the ANZ. I said to them, hey, I'm just having a problem. I want to transfer some money. I've got ATO bill that I want to pay. It's a BPay thing, but when I log into my account, it's saying $0. They're saying, yeah, give us the details. We'll have a look for you. And then I'm saying to them, look, I know it's late at night. You're probably just doing some system maintenance or something. And they're like, no, we're not doing any system maintenance. This is how bloody naive I was, right? No, we're not doing any system maintenance. I said, well, anyway, there's some kind of glitch on your side. They're like, no. And then they said to me, okay, Brooklyn, so yeah, you don't have any money. And I said, but I do. Like I can show you, I have been putting money aside and there's $90,000. And they said, but you've also been spending it. And I said, no, I haven't. And she said, but you have. And I said, I have not. And then I started to feel myself like getting scared and angry and like, but I haven't spent it. And then she said to me, Brooklyn, this is an offset account for your joint mortgage. And I said, yep. And she goes, does anybody else have access to this account? And straight when she said it, I knew exactly what she was talking about. So then I just hung up. I went and looked at the bank statement and I could see chunks of money had been taken. 500 here, 1,800 there, 300 there, and they'd all been withdrawn from ATMs. I went into the bedroom and I woke my husband up and I demanded answers, like what's going on? Do you know what? To this day, he still cannot, or I should say will not, explain to me how he spent $90,000 because he had nothing to show for it. I don't know. Was it gambling? Was it drugs? Was there a bit on the side? Like, I have no idea. But the experience was, here's somebody taking my money. I left him shortly after that, obviously. On the back of that, it was about, 6 months after I left him, not even 6 months, I went traveling and I went to Paris. Realised I loved traveling. It was my very first trip. I did it solo. Realised I loved traveling, came back. One of the ladies where I was working said to me, oh yeah, you should go and teach English overseas. They'll pay for all your accommodation, your flights and everything. You don't get much money, but you can travel and see the world. I never even knew such a thing existed. So anyway, by lunchtime that day, I had myself 3 job offers and I ended up resigning and I just took off. I went to, where was I working first? I think it was Morocco was the first place. And eventually, so it was like little contracts sort of here and there, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. I did this for 4 or 5 years, all around sort of Europe, Asia, Middle East, loved it. And yeah, fell madly in love with an Egyptian. And we were going to get married and it was so exciting. And of course we need a deposit for a house. And he says, he's given the builder 5,000, I need to put in my 5,000. I said, yeah, sure, no worries. I gave him 5,000. And then this kept happening, right? And it got to the point where I was giving 5,000, 5,000, 5,000 like this. And then he needed more. I didn't have it. And I started taking money off credit cards because I wanted the house and we were getting married and of course, right? And I know that I can make the money back. So I'm giving more money and then I'm getting extensions on my credit card and I'm increasing my credit limit so that I can keep giving the money. Anyway, so we're doing this and as I understand it, what's happening is we're saving for our future. We're saving for the wedding and then, the house will be built, we'll get married and then we can move straight into the house. So anyway, this is happening for about, 18 months, maybe 2 years. And then the wedding day comes. I'm super excited. Everything in Egypt works a little bit differently. And anyway, he was catching the train into the area where we were going to get married. I'm sitting at the train station in a wedding dress, right? Everybody looking at me because I'm Western, I'm blonde, I've got blue eyes, I'm a woman, I'm in a freaking wedding dress, right? Anyway, so I'm waiting for his train to arrive. Train comes, no Ashraf. That's his name, Ashraf. No Ashraf. I just figure he's running late. Next train comes, no Ashraf. I sat at that station from midday till about 10 o'clock at night. It was so, I was in just like numb. I like what happened with my first husband taking the money. Like I was just like so naive about it. Like I'm thinking the bank, it has a system maintenance outage or something. It didn't occur to me that somebody would do this. Well, it didn't occur to me that it could happen again. I got jilted on my wedding day and I was romance scammed to the tune of nearly $100,000. So yeah, a lot of that money wasn't even mine. It came from personal loans and credit cards. Yep. Then what happens is I spiral, go into depression. Like, he was the love of my life. How could this happen? I can't believe this is happening again. Very quickly, I end up in a rebound relationship with somebody else. We end up coming to Australia. I bring him with me on a partner visa because we get married. And then within a couple of weeks of being out here, it goes pear-shaped because his behavior changes. And I'm not down with things like, being threatened or intimidated by my husband. So I was like, no, this is like, I'm out. No. So anyway, we separated and I requested divorce and he wouldn't give it to me unless I paid him $20,000, which of course I wasn't going to do. So it was like another example of people taking money and stuff like this. And then this has been the story. So when I started, thinking about my money, and I was thinking, why do I find it so hard to make money with my private practice? Like, why am I not charging? That for the longest time as a psychologist, I was bulk billing, I didn't charge. I have to wonder now, was that because of a fear that somebody was going to ask for it back? Was I worried that someone was going to take it? And fast forward, and you know what happened with my mum and I, right? We were both going to sell our homes in COVID, and we were both going to move into dual occupancy, a block of land, 2 houses, 2 titles on the one piece of land. She had her place, I have mine, and I could, be connected by a garden or something, and or a pool in the middle, whatever. And yeah, I could still look after her, but have my space. And I sold my home that I worked really, really hard for, and that I loved. I sold my home, and within like a day or two of doing that, it was a very quick settlement. It was 7 days or 14 days. It was a very quick settlement. I had to pack up the whole house, put it in storage, came up to mum's. I said to her one day, I'm just going to look around and see what we need to do to fix up your place so that we can sell it. And then she said, I've changed my mind. I'm not selling. So now I'm like homeless, in my 40s, no asset to speak of other than my car, and this little pot of money in the bank now from selling my home. A couple of days later, she's at the kitchen table crying because she's not working because we're in lockdown in Victoria. She's got a mortgage to pay. It's a few $1,000s, like $3,300 or something like that. And I felt bad, and I didn't want to send my mum upset. And I knew that I had money in my bank account because my house had sold. So I just said to her, well, I'll pay off your mortgage for you so you don't have to worry about it. So I paid off her mortgage for her. And it didn't even occur to me at the time that I wasn't looking after myself. So what happened is now I don't have a home, and now the money from the sale of my home is on my mother's mortgage, and that mortgage is in her name. So I still don't even, I'm worse off. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not that she took my money. She didn't. But that's not what I'm saying at all. Like, I'm just saying I've got a thread here of me not being awesome with my own money. And I have to wonder like how that showed up for me in my private practice. And even when I did start charging, I did it from the wrong energy. I did it from an energy of apology, trying to compensate for it, trying to make it up to people with things, all of that. It was just totally wrong. And I didn't realize it at the time because I didn't have anyone around me that was saying, hey, Brooklyn, like, before you go and raise your fee, do you think we might want to like sort out some of this other money stuff for you first? So my money stories and fears were being projected onto and into and through my business. And so for the longest time, it was really hard for me to feel like I was getting ahead. And then once I did start to get ahead, I found my money kind of hitting a ceiling. And it was like any time I would have a surplus, something would happen to make it disappear. So that was when I went on my journey of like learning about money stories, becoming a money coach, qualified, all of that kind of stuff was around that. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're trying to make money in your practice too and it's not working, it might not be about the strategies. It could be there's something going on for you energetically or subconsciously, or maybe even this is happening, but you just can't shift it, release it, transmute it, transform it, change it, all those kinds of things. That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Or maybe you worry that you're not good enough to receive money, or maybe you feel unsafe with money and things like that. And so when you have those thoughts and feelings and there's that energy behind it, what this looks like for you in your business is, even though you're working really, 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 really hard to make it, like no one can deny that. You are, we all see it. What it means is you're kind of sabotaging. You're undercharging because you don't feel good enough. I've only got a bachelor's, or you're undercharging because, I just charge 80 because My supervisor only charges 100, and well, I'm not as experienced as she is, so who am I to charge, the same as or even more than my supervisor? Plus, it wouldn't be fair on her. So, and I don't want to be too big for my boots. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep charging 80 and seeing bucket loads of clients, burning myself out in the meantime, even though on the inside, I really want to be charging what everybody else is charging. Do you see what I'm saying? Like how this manifests, what it can look like? So it looks like that. That's just one example. Another example is that maybe you love nothing more than just doing the work. And in fact, if there was somebody that could just do the business stuff, that'd be awesome. Because you love helping, you love being there with the client, you love being in that space, being in that energy and supporting them, working with them. And, you also maybe even really want to create a ripple effect, right? You want to do that through your work. So if that's something that's on your heart and you really, really want to do that, and it's important to you to create that big impact, that ripple effect, and to really, really get the message out for the people that you work with that things can be different for them and you know it and you've got a way for that to happen, it's going to require you to be more visible so that they can find you. But if you've got a story in your mind about visibility, it's not going to work. Like maybe you were told, don't be too much. Maybe you were told children should be seen and not heard. Maybe you were told nobody's interested in your opinion. Maybe you were told you're not good enough because you only have a diploma. Maybe you are feeling like you don't want to put yourself out there because what if you do and no one likes you? That's freaking scary, right? Imagine like you're worrying about perhaps being judged, or you're worried that you'll put something out there and people won't understand what you mean, or they'll misinterpret it, or they won't get it and they're going to think it's something not good and you're going to get heckled or trolled or criticized, right? Or maybe you're just thinking, I know what I should be saying and I know what I really want to say, but I better not because I'm not good enough. Like I'm really only new to private practice. So I don't have that much experience. Like I don't really have the right yet to say the things I want to say. And so this then manifests in the business by you, on one hand, saying, this is my heart's desire. I want to help as many people as I possibly can to improve their situation, their circumstances, their experience, have a better life, improve their wellness, right? Whatever it is, you really want to do that. You really want to create that ripple effect because when that person starts to feel better, it's going to mean their relationships improve, which is nice for the people around them, right? And that's going to ripple to, do you know what I mean? And it's just going to create these concentric circles of positivity, right? These beautiful ripples. But what ends up happening when you've got all these fears and stories running is that you do the things. You post on Instagram, you post on social, you write blog posts, you turn up at networking events, you're sending emails, you're cold calling, you're doing all of those things, but you're doing them badly. Like you are holding back because you don't want anybody not to like you, or you're holding back because you're worried what people will think, or you're holding back because what if it doesn't land for the right person, or you're doing things like playing it safe. Playing it safe means not niching. Playing it safe means trying to be everything to everybody because you don't want to risk somebody saying that you're not inclusive. You're trying to please everyone and you're watering down the things that are on your heart to say. Because here's the thing, when you're feeling really, really passionate about the thing that you want to share with your clients, the thing you want them to know, how you want them to feel, what you want them to see is possible for them. When you're so passionate about that, that's got an energy around it. That's what magnetizes them to you. But because you're scared that not everyone's going to agree, or not everyone's going to like it, or someone's going to have a different opinion, you water it down. And suddenly we've gone from having this big-hearted, soul-led, important, significant, need to hear it now message. Now we've got something that's watery, fluffy, goes nowhere, lands for no one, and worse yet is perhaps even built on cliches. So it feels like on one hand, you might say to me, yeah, Brooklyn, I'm marketing, like I'm doing so much. I post on my socials every single day, and I blog, and I send emails, and I do all of these things. But when I go and have a look at your stuff, I'm seeing it's very vanilla. It's very generic. There's no you in any of this. And it's because there's these fears and stories happening. Another example is that perhaps as the thing you crave mostly from your business is for it to make you money, let you help people, and give you balance that you didn't have when you were working for somebody else. So, it's really important to you perhaps to have a business that has work or business hours that match your energy, and time away from the business to recharge. Gives you time away from the business to recharge. It does both things, right? That's really ideally one of the big drivers for you to have your private practice. But you might have fears that kind of get in the way. For example, you might say to yourself, balance is so important to me. I preach about it all the time. I talk to my clients about it all the time. I post about it all the time. It's a value of my private practice, the importance of balance. But I don't do it for myself, because if I want to take the afternoon off, I just feel guilty about it because I don't have enough clients yet. So I should be at work trying to hustle and find some more clients somewhere. Or, I don't really have the right to take the afternoon off when my business isn't profitable yet, or when I'm not paying myself yet. So you kind of make all these agreements with yourself about it being okay or not okay to have the balance that you want, totally bypassing that if you allowed yourself to have the balance first, then maybe the receiving of the clients and therefore the revenue would come. You're flipping it around the wrong way. And it's because of these stories, these beliefs, these things that you're telling yourself, right? You may say to yourself, look, I don't deserve to take the afternoon off because, I didn't make enough money this week, or I didn't see enough clients this week, or I had cancellations. So I'll just stay at work. And so you stay at work, but the energy's not there. You don't really want to be there. You're doing work tasks that you don't really want to do, and that you're doing them knowing that they don't work for you at the moment, but you're not sure why they're not working. Spoiler alert, they're not working because you're sabotaging. And so this all manifests in the business and in you with things like worrying, right? Doing, thinking, and feeling all those things, using all of that energy, right? So it's not just doing the work tasks, it's thinking about work constantly. You're driving home thinking about it. You're making dinner thinking about it. You're trying to relax watching a movie at night with your loved ones, but you're thinking about it. When there's a commercial on TV, right? You make excuses to get up and, you tell people that you're going to go to the bathroom, but actually you just want to have a quick sneaky look at your phone to check your email in case somebody's made an inquiry. You want to get it quick while it's hot. You're doing things like that. So yeah, instead of having the balance that you really want, the opposite's happening. And you may not even be aware of it at the time, because often, like, we don't have foresight with burnout unless we've got really good people around us that bring our attention to it. Often, we realize after the fact, because we get taken out, right? We get sick, we get tired, we don't want to get out of bed, we've lost our motivation, we've lost our mojo, all those kinds of things. They happen, and then we realize, oh, this is burnout. So you put yourself on that path to burnout. So these are just a few examples, right? And everybody's examples of success and abundance and things like that are going to look different. What I know to be true is that everybody can be successful and can experience abundance. Hands down, I believe that. 100% I believe that. I believe that it's not even a thing. It only becomes difficult when we get in our own way with it. And I think by you saying, oh, I just need the next thing, I just need the next strategy, I think that you're avoiding perhaps, or not giving yourself space to look at this other side of the equation, because it's this other side that's just as important, right? So if you're working really hard, but you don't have the referrals, the bookings, inquiries, the money, I want you to ask yourself questions around these two areas. So with the practical and tactical stuff, right, when it comes to the business, like, do you have the systems in place that will help you be ready for an influx of clients or money or inquiries or bookings, right? So it's everything automated. Or have you got emails going back and forward, left, right, and center, and clients can't book you? You've got to do the bookings for them, and there's no automated Zoom link, and you've got to go in and manually do that, and blah blah blah. Like, is the business actually set up practically for you to receive the amount of clients or sign-ups for your course or things like that you want? Is the business set up, right? Or have you got those things in place? This is the other part of the equation. Or have you got those things in place, but you're not using them, right? For example, maybe you've got your, some of the foundational policies. There's lots of them, but some of the foundational ones are your booking, your payment, your cancellation, your reschedule, your no-show, sorry. Do you have those things, but you don't use them because of all these other mindset things that are going on? Oh, if I charge a cancellation fee, I'll lose a client and they won't rebook, and they'll leave a bad review for me on Google, and then I'll never get any more clients, and they'll tell all my referrers that I'm a horrible person, and then the referrer will agree and they won't send me any more clients, and then I'll lose my whole entire business, and then I'll have to go on Centrelink, and then I'll have to go and work at Bunnings. Do you see? It spirals. So if there's, if you've got, to the best of your knowledge, the things that you need to have in place for the business foundationally, but you're still not seeing the money or the clients or the bookings or the inquiries or the referrals, I'm going to hazard a guess, just put my money on it, that there's some sabotage going on that you're either aware of and not yet working through for whatever reason, right? That's fine. You can't force it, right? Sometimes you need that awareness first, and you've got to sit with it for a little while, and then eventually at some point you'll say, okay, I think maybe now I need to do something, and that's when you'll start taking action on it. But it's probably also really likely that you just don't know that there's some sabotage going on as a result of some of these other things. So what I would love to invite you to do is do a mini review of your business and see for yourself, is this business ready to receive clients? Like, let's imagine I had a magic wand and I just tapped it, and within the next hour, all those vacant, open, available sessions in your diary were going to be booked for the next 8 weeks. It's just boom, close your eyes, open them again. That diary, no availability for the next 8 weeks. All the appointments are now booked. What's the feeling that comes up? Is it excitement? Is it yikes, gulp? Oh my God, I'm not ready for this. Like, there's a clue in what you experienced just when I said that. So yeah, ask yourself, is the business set up practically to be able to handle receiving a quick flurry of all these things? And then ask yourself, am I ready to receive it? And what work do I need to do? And here's the thing, it doesn't matter like what level of success you're at. There's always things that come up that we weren't aware of, but that we need to work through. Just like you heard like all my money stories there. And that's just like one of my things. That's just one of the ways I used to sabotage myself. I don't anymore with that. But there are certainly other ways that I sabotage myself. And I'm sure there are other ways I sabotage myself that I'm not even aware of yet. It'll be the same for you too. So this is an invitation to, I guess, sit with them, identify them, and ask yourself, right? What do I need to do in order to get ready for the overflow that's coming my way? What do I need to set up in terms of how I see myself, how I feel about it, what it means for me? Because this is one of the other things, right? You might think, oh yeah, all those appointments that are currently available, I can't wait until they're booked. But then what if there's also part of you that's kind of also saying, but at the same time, when all those appointments are booked, I'm not going to be able to do school pickup anymore. That's going to be a problem. I'm not going to be as available for the kids when I get home anymore. So it's going to take time away from my family, and that doesn't feel good. Do you see how this stuff starts to impact? Yeah, so I guess instead of like really letting people know that I'm open for business, I might just do something a bit more low key, right? It kind of like says, well, I'm still doing something because technically I'm marketing, but I'm also kind of doing it in a way it's not going to take time away from my family. So yeah, I'm just kind of like keeping that really on the down low at the moment. And then you're there wondering why nobody's booking. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Go away, have a think about it. See, what you're being guided to look at, and allow yourself to look at it, unpack it, discover it, reveal it, all those kinds of things. This was something that I shared in Practice Momentum this morning, and one of the girls in there, sent me a message, and she was like, there are so many women that need to hear this. You should definitely do something with it. And so I thought about that, and I made it longer, and I sent it out as an email, and now I'm recording it as a podcast. But yeah, so that's the context for all of this. So yeah, and this is so important. Like even in momentum, I think sometimes the women come in thinking, oh, this is going to be great. Brooklyn's going to give me all the strategies, and I do. But what we sometimes find is that people don't implement them, or they halfway implement them, or they implement them in like not a great way. And when we dig into that, it's usually because there's some stories, there's some fears, and they're sabotaging. And it's that work that needs to be done. So we just do it there in that space together privately. And once they've done that, things start to work for them. Like one of my clients, she was always saying to me, I don't have enough clients. I don't have enough clients. I don't have enough bookings. I don't know what else I should do. And she was doing so much stuff. She was doing so much stuff. It wasn't that she wasn't trying. It wasn't that she was lazy. It was nothing like, it wasn't that she didn't have the strategies. She had the strategies. But some of the strategies and the processes and the tools that she was given, she had stories around from her own background. When we were able to clear some of those, she continued to use the strategies, and things changed in her business and she didn't even realize it for weeks. The point where she realized it was when she went to book in a client and she was looking at her diary, because normally her clients do all their own bookings. And she went to book in this client and she looked at her own diary and she said, Brooklyn, I'm booked out for the next 3 weeks. And I didn't even realize it. She had just 2 things. Number 1, she'd been using the strategies, but they hadn't been working fully because she hadn't been using them fully. When we cleared the thing, she continued to use the strategies, but used them fully. It resulted in an influx of clients and an influx of, obviously, money comes with bookings and clients, right? But she hadn't realized that she was booked out so far in advance. And now she's another one in the program, so it's 4 now, that went from not having fully booked diaries and was struggling and not knowing how they're going to pay themselves to in 6 months having, situations that now require wait lists. So anyway, it's very interesting. It's very powerful work. It's very deep. It's very important. So that's that. And that's what I wanted to share today. And now I'm going to move into like a cool spiritual thing that happens. So if you're not into the spiritual stuff, I want to say thank you so much for listening. If you are into the spiritual stuff, stay with me because this is good. This is almost as good as as the draw story that you'll remember from a previous episode. So on the back of that, I've got these 3 candles. They're electronic candles. They're just like white pillar candles basically in like a glass jar. And you got to put batteries in them. You got to like flick the switch on the bottom, and then there's like a remote control. And so at night when I'm in this space, I really love to put my candles on and just like make a nice mood, just to try and unwind for the night, And I was looking at my candles one night and I thought, I wonder if I could ask my team to let me know that they're around by turning on the middle candle. And you already know what I'm going to say. But anyway, so I did a whole process. It wasn't anything big, but basically I just called them in. I said, this is what I wanted. I gave them permission to do it. And then I said, so next time you're around, I would love to know that, and you're invited, and I would love it if you would let me know, blah, 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 blah. So welcome them in, gave the permission, closed off the energy loop after I put out the request. Would you believe 1 or 2 days went past and nothing happened? And I was like, okay, that's fine. I wasn't attached to the outcome. And then the next day, I was just sitting there minding my own business. I was eating lunch with Buddy, and at the corner of my eye, I just sort of looked up because my candles are on I've got a bookshelf above my desk. So they're up on there, quite high up. And then I sort of had to push my chair back so I could see my candles. And guess what? The middle candle was on. The middle candle was on. I took a photo of it and I was so excited. And I was saying thank you. And I was like showing appreciation and gratitude and all those kinds of things. And it just felt really, 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 really fun and good. And again, it was kind of like later that day, I was thinking about it some more. And then I thought about it for the next few days. I was thinking to myself, should I be scared? And then I thought, well, no, because I asked for it. And it's just nice. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. It's so much fun. And I'm just using that energy now as part of my, I don't call it a morning routine or a morning ritual, but before I turn on the computer, almost every morning, there've been a couple I've forgotten because I've just been, so excited about writing my sales page for Booked and Better that it's just like totally bypassed my mind. But on the other days, I have been calling in the energy, using the cards, getting the strategy for the day, posting it and sharing it and using it and loving it. And I'm feeling more me than I've ever felt. And I'm so excited for the future. I'm so excited for the future. And I'm also so excited because in 48 hours from now, I'm going to be on holiday. Well, not even 48 hours. It's so exciting. So I've got some stuff to do later on this afternoon, and tomorrow it's kind of like running around doing stuff. So mum's going to be okay while I'm gone, and then boom, gone. So excited. And it's a whole week just like rest, relaxation. I can't wait. But of course, as I said at the start, like I totally got my timing wrong, didn't I? I got it in my head that, you should definitely launch Booked and Better on the 1st of the month, Brooklyn, because that just makes sense doing it on the 1st of the month. Totally forgetting I'm on leave from the 2nd to the 10th. Anywho, it's fine. It's fine. I'll schedule some things, and I'm sure I'll do some random stuff when I'm gone to sort of raise some awareness about it. But I probably should have put a little bit more thought into when I was going to launch that. But it is what it is. And this is just something I'm doing for fun. It's not something that like I'm totally relying on for my business or anything. So yeah, I'm completely detached from it. It's just something that it just feels fun, and I'm really loving making the products, and they're fun, and I can't wait for people to use them because they're new ways of doing things that are me, and they're fun, and they just make the hard things feel like not hard at all. Like one of the ladies who did one of the reviews for one of my products, in her testimonial, she said it felt suspiciously easy. It's so funny. And that's what I want. Like I want hard things to feel really, really easy. Somebody else said she's kicking herself. Like, why didn't she see some of this stuff before? And yeah, it's just so much fun. And I hope that you're doing fun things with your business as well. It doesn't always have to be hard or heavy or serious. You get to do fun things, and you get to experience joy with your practice. And so, yeah, maybe this episode is also like an invitation for you to look at how can experiencing more joy or more fun in your private practice set the business up for you to receive that overflow financially or with bookings or creating ripple effects and things like that. Anyway, I know. So yeah, if you want to know more about Booked and Better, I haven't put it on my website yet, but I will put it on there. I'll have to do it today, won't I? Because it opens tomorrow. So I'll put it on my website today. Plus I'll put something in email, and you can have a look at it. And I will also share it in my Facebook community. So I hope that's covered all bases for everybody, because I know some are in just one place, not in the others. So I don't want anyone to sort of say I didn't get the information. So there you go. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening. I don't know when the next episode's going to be. I know I try and do them on Saturdays and Wednesdays. Saturday, I'm dropping Buddy off at 8:30, and then I'm on the road. So I don't know, you might get one on Saturday. Otherwise, it'll just be whenever I'm feeling inspired while I'm gone, which means it's probably going to be like 4 or 5 episodes in like the space of a week. But that's fine. All right, my lovelies. Thank you so much for listening and being part of the show. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorm.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storm, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.